They say every path holds a secret, and the forest path to Aidu High School was no exception. To some, it was just a shortcut, but to others, it was a test, a quiet one watched by eyes unseen. This is the story of Kenneth, Cain, and Mark, three schoolboys whose choices led them down very different roads. They walked every morning before sunrise down a narrow dirt path that wound through Aidu Forest, a shortcut that saved them 30 minutes of walking. Kenneth was the proud one, tall, confident, always boasting about how his father had just bought a new motorcycle. Cain was his shadow, loud, quick to laugh, and always looking for trouble. But Mark was different. Quiet, respectful, and kind. He was the one who greeted the old palm wine tapper, who helped women cross puddles, and who never threw stones at the birds like Kenneth and Cain did. That path had seen them grow. But on one humid morning, the forest decided to test their hearts. As they turned a bend near the giant iroko tree, they met an old woman, frail, bent over, carrying a large basket of fruits on her head. Her wrapper was faded, and her bare feet were coated in red earth. "Hey, my children, please, help me. These fruits are too heavy for me to carry." Kenneth snorted. "Madam, abeg, go your way. We are late for school." Cain laughed. "Old woman, you think say we get time for market work? We get exam today." And they both walked past her. But Mark paused. He looked at the woman, her trembling hands, her tired eyes. He dropped his bag and said softly, "Don't worry, Mama. Let me help you." The old woman smiled slowly, a smile that looked like sunlight breaking through the clouds. She said nothing more as Mark helped her lift the heavy basket and followed her down a smaller path that led deeper into the forest. Kenneth and Cain laughed behind him. "Look at mommy's boy, helping old people for free." But Mark ignored them. After a few minutes of walking, they reached a small mud hut covered with creeping vines. Strange symbols were carved around the doorway. Inside, the woman asked him to place the basket down. Then she fetched the small stool and told him to sit. "Young man, you did not walk past me like the others. You will be blessed for this." From the shadows, she brought out a small brown coconut, smooth and glowing faintly under the firelight. She said, "Take this. When you reach home, break it, but only with your mother beside you." Mark thanked her politely, confused but grateful. He didn't understand the meaning of her words, but his spirit felt light as he walked back home. That evening, Mark returned home to his mother, a widow who struggled to feed him with her petty trade. "Mama," he said, "I met an old woman in the forest today. She gave me this coconut and said I should break it with you." The mother looked at it suspiciously. "A coconut? You see she no do juju inside?" But Mark nodded, smiling. "I feel it's something good, Mama." They placed the coconut on the floor. Mark raised a small pestle and cracked it open. The moment the shell broke, light burst out of the coconut like a small explosion. Then money, crisp notes, coins, gold trinkets poured out onto the floor, covering their small room. Mark's mother screamed and began to cry. Neighbors rushed in, shouting, amazed at what they saw. By the next day, everyone in the village heard this story. And in less than 2 months, Mark and his mother moved into a fine house. They bought land, started a business, and helped the poor. Mark's kindness had become a blessing that spread like perfume. But not everyone was happy. Kenneth and Cain watched in silence, their hearts boiling with envy. "How can that boy, that poor boy, become rich before us?" Kenneth hissed. Cain nodded. "We go find that woman. She go give us our own coconuts too." So one Saturday morning, they entered the same forest path, and true to their wish, there she was again. The old woman stood at the same spot, struggling under the weight of another heavy basket. Before she could even ask for help, Kenneth rushed forward with a fake smile. "Mama, let me help you." Cain quickly added, "Yes, oh Mama, we will carry it for you." The woman looked at them quietly, her eyes seeing through their false smiles. Still, she let them help her. When they reached her hut, she brought out 3 coconuts. One small, one medium, and one large. She said softly, "Choose wisely. What is small may hold greatness. What is large may hide trouble. But greed speaks louder than wisdom." Kenneth laughed. "Ha ha ha, abeg, who wants small coconut? Give me the biggest." Cain snatched the second biggest one. The woman sighed deeply, her wrinkled face suddenly sad. "Your heart will open what your hands have chosen." They ran home quickly, laughing, dreaming of mansions and cars. When they reached Kenneth's room, they locked the door. "Let's break it and see the money," Kenneth said eagerly. They hit the coconut with a hammer. Crack! But instead of light or money, a dark smoke poured out. From inside the coconut came the hiss of something alive. A long black snake, thick as a man's arm, slithered out, its eyes burning red. Before they could scream, it opened its mouth wide and swallowed Kenneth whole. Cain ran, trembling, but as he tried to open the door, his own coconut fell from his hand and cracked. Another snake burst out, larger, faster, and swallowed him too. When the neighbors later broke open the door, the room was empty. Only 2 cracked coconut shells and the smell of something old and strange. The story spread through Aidu town like wildfire. Some said the old woman was a witch. Some said she was an ancestor in disguise, testing the hearts of the young. But Mark knew better. He continued to live humbly, helping others, and warning every child, don't walk through life with greed in your eyes, because sometimes the forest is watching. In this world, not every blessing is found through strength, nor every curse through weakness. Kindness opens doors that greed will only close forever. And those who chase blessings without compassion may end up chasing their own destruction.